All right, this is the Algebra 2, Unit 3, Lesson 3 video over multiplying matrices. So matrix multiplication can mean one of two things, and this first matrix multiplication lesson is going to be about multiplying by a scalar. So there is a way to multiply two matrices by one another, but when we talk about scalar multiplication, we're just talking about multiplying a matrix times an individual number. So for instance, it would look something like this. 3 times, and then we'd have our matrix. And then we'd have all of our values within our matrix. And when we do scalar multiplication, which is the term we use for multiplying a constant term times a matrix, you can kind of think of it as the distributive property, in that we are going to multiply every term inside this matrix times the scalar number. So it's really straightforward. Our answer is going to be a matrix with the same dimensions as the original matrix, but in a sense, I'm going to just multiply 3 times every term in this matrix. So we're going to go and do that. So let me just back out of that because we don't need all of those in there. But I'm going to multiply 3 times 2, which is 6, 3 times 0, which is 0, 3 times negative 3, which is negative 9, 3 times 4 is 12, and so on. 3 times negative 2, 3 times 1, 3 times 1, 3 times 3, 3 times 6, 3 times 0, 3 times negative 1, 3 times 2. And so, again, it's not really anything more than that, but multiplying each number inside the matrix times each number inside the matrix. Sorry, each number inside the matrix times the scalar outside the matrix. And we call this scalar multiplication. And so that's pretty much what you're doing here in this lesson. They try to make it like slightly more complicated in certain problems, but you can see like in number 1, you're just going to multiply everything in that matrix times 2. Now in number 2, they're trying to, again, get kind of tricky, but ultimately, you're going to multiply 2 and 3, and then you can multiply the answer you get times everything in the matrix. So don't do 3 times everything and then 2 times everything. Just multiply 2 and 3 and then multiply the answer times everything. Same thing in number 3. Work out this part first and then multiply the answer. Number 4, pretty straightforward. Number 5, remember, be careful about your negatives. Number 6, that one's pretty straightforward. If you're multiplying any number times 0, you should know what's going to happen there. And then that gets us to review questions. So these are going to be doing inequalities. Remember, you need to do 2 different solutions just to kind of remind you of this. Remember, you need to do 2 things. You need to do x minus 3 equals 7 and solve that equation. And then you need to do x minus 3 is equal to negative 7 and solve that equation. And then you'll get 2 solutions for x. X equals 2 different numbers. So just a reminder for you on how to do those. That's what you do for those last 3 review problems. So this is pretty straightforward. I won't spend much more time on this, but the next video will take a little bit more time because multiplying matrices by one another is a little bit more complicated. So that is it for lesson 3.